Web3 is rewriting the rules. Finance, technology, freedom. So we're sitting down with some of the builders in the space to get their take on where things are heading.
Southeast Asia has taken over Europe for transaction volume. So it's just really showing like how global crypto is becoming.
It's great for TradFi because it brings more of that financial innovation that maybe is the missing piece today in today's TradFi.
The way that we interact with crypto is changing in real time. This is the Now Effect by ChangeNOW. Feel the power of now. Hey there, I'm Ornella Hernandez, and joining me today is Faraj. He is the Senior Advisor in the Middle East region for Stellar. How are you doing?
All good, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right, so you have been in the Middle East region, in UAE specifically, for around 15 years, right? And you worked in the oil and gas industry, and now you're in blockchain and crypto and finance. So I wanted to ask, what is one misconception that people from the outside may have of how money actually moves in this region?
In my opinion, the largest misconception is that it's very conventional region, that the banking sector and the central banks are not very favorable to digital assets in general here, but it's changing at a very rapid pace here in the region, especially in the UAE. So UAE started their efforts with approving for digital dirhams, stablecoins with 4 banks, and the regulators here, like both BARA, ADGM, FSRI with the AFC, they all are moving with their regulations, very open to businesses. So in my opinion, both cross-border payments, internal payments as well, will be drastically improved by implementing blockchain in the financial services. So in my opinion, blockchain will be the new digital rails upon which the new financial system will be built. And I'm happy to see that this region is actually moving at a very high pace.
Yeah. So the misconception is maybe that it's not as open as it actually is.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And so from your work with Stellar, give us one example of a success story of how blockchain rails actually improved payments for your customers.
Yeah, one of the there are a few stories. Stellar is the blockchain in existence since 2015, so it has been in place for a very long time, and it's one of the oldest and most reliable blockchains. We were down for less than almost an hour in 11 years, so it has proven to be like a finance grade and payments focused chain from day one. So one of the examples that we were starting building with Templeton, which is 1.7 trillion assets under management back in 2018, and first money market fund came online on Stellar in 2021. So this allowed us to reduce the costs of putting money market fund on chain by 99%. So, and we processed a very large number of transactions and saved the costs both for our partner Franklin Templeton, but also for the users that would like to have an access to Franklin Templeton. So in the previously when the minimum check size was more than $20,000, then it was dropped to like dozens of dollars in some cases. So, and we are up until now their largest partner. But if we talk about retail, we work with United Nations. We have 14 pilot projects with them, mainly on the aid disbursement and also on the help for the refugees, both in Ukraine and in other places. And we have created a Stellar disbursement program specifically for them to disperse cash to refugees in a like urgent matter. Sometimes in Ukraine would work really fast to make it done, but we also saved the equivalent amount of costs for German government to provide salaries for their workers in Syria, for example, and we saved the amount equal to year of work of the hospital, so
Okay.
the wages. So that actually many people do not understand, but in the places where banking system is not developed, sometimes blockchain and is the only way how to move the money or how to preserve capital in high inflation environment.
Okay, those were really great examples. I didn't know about all the UN collabs that you do, and that's crypto for social good. We need more of those programs.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned both examples, Frank Templeton, that there's cost savings involved there, right?
Correct.
So is that the main benefit, that when you talk to banks, regulators, like, is that what they're looking for the most? Is the cost savings, or what else is the advantage of working with a company like Stellar?
There are many. One of them, it's the blockchain is transparent, auditable, that it's working 24/7.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it's instant settlement.
Speed.
So it's speed, and for banking sector, that sometimes the transfers can take days. It just minutes. It removes a lot of intermediaries. So the ultimate costs are definitely lower to on-chain. So that's why Stellar, by having a very low cost of the transactions, fractions of the cent, we're currently in top 4 by RWA XYZ, by an amount of tokenized volume on Stellar. So it's more than 2 billion now. And we continue working with large institutions to bring more in both settlement volume, but also in tokenized volume of Stellar, to bring the cost down for our partners, and to make sure that it's just more efficient.
Right. Okay. So cost and speed are still the main drivers.
In many aspects, yes, but also the security and the privacy of the operations as well.
Okay. Is
So-
that any more important now than it has been before?
In my opinion, it just the world is moving into this direction in general. 24/7 and instant settlement, I think, are one of the major drivers of that. So people want to trade in the weekends,
Right,
or
whenever they want.
whenever they want, yes, and and also they don't like their transfers to take like 5 days or 7 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Neither do I.
So, but definitely some merchants, they don't want to have like 3% or 5% charges when it can be like fractions of the cent, right? For microfinance organizations, when they have very small payments sometimes coming from people, the traditional banking system is just not designed for them. So when you're sending $10 somewhere, you can't use SWIFT, right? You have to use other methods.
Right. Okay. And so in all of your experience, both in oil and gas industry and in the crypto industry, what's one lesson that you think those in crypto still haven't quite learned yet, from your past experience in other industries?
Yeah, when I was working in oil and gas, I was working for large corporations like BP, ExxonMobil, Schlumberger, Halliburton. So all of those corporations were in existence for decades, and they are very serious with processes. They're very serious with the way they build tech, and the way they build operations, and it's supposed to be fault resistant. So in the crypto industry, we hear a lot with different blockchains having reorgs, or rollbacks, or some blockchains stopped working for 24 hours or whatever. And that actually, in my opinion, it's not. I mean, we as an industry have to put a lot of emphasis for us to be way more reliable, right? For finance, for other sectors to take us seriously, and to understand that we as a technology can build like mission critical technology. We have to work harder on that, and I'm happy that Stellar has been focusing only on one direction, which is payments, everyday financial services. That's the mission of the foundation, actually, to provide equitable access to everyday financial services via blockchain. We were not going on some other like gaming or any other directions, which usually just takes the focus away from building some proper tech,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I would like to see less of speculation in our industry as well.
Okay. I agree with that. Yeah.
I was started giving speeches worldwide on different conferences, and my main speech was around institutionalization.
Mhm.
So that is coming in our industry.
I think
And
that's here.
a few years later,
Yeah.
from like partying and speculatory meme coins, we moved into this direction.
Mhm.
Right now, the banks are moving into this. Regulators are embracing stable coins
Yeah.
and RWA, and I can see that this actually creates a really good impact for the entire industry.
Yeah, definitely. It makes us take things a little more seriously.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let's fast forward in a few years. If Stellar could be known for one thing, let's call it a Stellar effect in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, what would you like people to think of when they think of Stellar?
I think my primary goal would be to take us in first or maybe second place in RWA.
Okay.
So because a majority of the world financial giants like BlackRock and Citi and others, they predict the world to be tokenized in a very big amount. It's like trillions of dollars. And 10x, sometimes 20x growth of what we have now, up to $30 trillion by 2030 by some estimates.
You think that'll happen?
With the same regulatory speed, I think it will. Because people underestimate that the majority of the financial organizations, they're just waiting for the regulators to give them the green light to move into this. And tokenization of the assets, bringing them 24/7, allowing them to be tradable, allowing them to be investable with any amounts. So this actually removes a lot of friction that exists in current economy. And bringing unbanked people on chain and allowing them to have access to financial services that actually like maybe a fifth of the world, that which means billions of people do not have access to, that actually will be a catalyst for a big growth globally, right? So for me, that would be one. Obviously, cross-border payments, it already is like changed a lot by stable coins. And I would like to see Stellar as part of the at least top 3 protocols that is disrupting that. We have global partnership with MoneyGram, which is like one of the largest cross-border players, and we're happy to have access to on and off ramp locations in 170 countries with 450,000 locations worldwide. And believe me, educating all those people in all those locations on what the blockchain is, accepting the payments in Stellar, dispersing cash in return. It was a very tough work which was undertaken, and I believe that this relationship that we have built will continue forward and change the world to be a better place.
Yes, definitely. Well, we'll check in a few years to see how we're doing. All right, last question for you, Faraj. I wanted to walk through a typical cross-border payment process and what that looks like when it comes to using Stellar. So let's just, for example, take a company here in the UAE that has a supplier in Egypt, and they need to send money over. It takes a few days. There's fees involved. Now, how would this look like if the company here were to send money over there via Stellar rails?
Yes, so we are building now our on and off ramp networks globally. So, and I'm leading the Middle East for Stellar, so I'm responsible for bringing as many on and off ramp providers regionally. So it could be local exchanges, it could be local on off ramp, usually regulated players. Those would be our partners in the region. So if the company would directly ask us for support, we'll just let them know that they could use these off and on-ramp partners in these countries. And the company would just liaise with them and tell them that we need to get it, like we pay in dirhams in this country, in UAE, and we want to have, let's say, in Malaysia, the ringgit bank account transfer under this name with this invoice. So they will wire their dirhams in that account of our on-off-ramp partner.
Okay.
They will convert it to USDC on Stellar. It will just be sent to our counterparty and on-off-ramp partner in Malaysia, off-ramped to ringgit and delivered to the bank there. And because it's like local bank transfer, usually it's seconds. So the entire process will take like a few minutes, and that's it. People just have a hard time to understand how fast it goes, but once they go and use blockchain for that, they cannot go back and wait for like 5 days for Swift and clearance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the hardest part is just getting started, right?
The hardest
People get
part
nervous
is
about
to getting started, yes, but mostly it's about regulation in each country. Sometimes the crypto is outright forbidden in some countries, right? So then the businesses take risk if they go this route. And then their accounting would not be so clear with who has sent you what and where this with receipts, etc. So that's why we're working very hard with regulators here and also globally to educate them on the and also to work with obviously central banks and financial institutions in each country to understand, to explain to them that this is the new world, this is the new digital rails. It can be compliant, it can be private if necessary, and Stellar was compared to other blockchains, it was built with compliance first, ideology. We have bank-grade compliance features inbuilt, like for example, asset clawbacks, asset transaction freezing, transaction pausing, etc., trust lines. All those compliance features are normal in banking operations. However, they're very rare in blockchain. And because we were built with payments in mind and compliance in mind, they're existing on a protocol level.
Okay.
So any asset issuer can just enable those transactions, compliance features, enable on the application level the privacy features, and start using the tech.
And do you have any tips for our audience, new Stellar users, maybe you can share with our audience?
Absolutely. The best way is just to go on the stellar.org. You can go through the use cases for developers, especially if someone is building the financial applications. That would be the best way to go through our website. We have Stellar Community Fund, very active grant program to encourage the developers to build on Stellar, innovate on Stellar, especially if they see that locally the bank industry does not really fulfill all their needs. And we want them to do that. We have hackathon ongoing, and we have like acceleration programs with CVVC and ongoing as well. We have Stellar Meridian in Lisbon in October, which is the annual conference with a hackathon there as well. So anyone is welcome. They will understand that Stellar is working with a number of large institutions like United Nations and others, but we're always welcoming to see new developers on board.
All right, thank you so much for your time today, Faraj. I learned a lot about Stellar.
Thank you very much.
And everyone, make sure to check out stellar.org if you want to learn more, and make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you want to check out more interviews on ChangeNOW.